Hello everybody, welcome back. Once again, my name is Mica Pointer, and today we are going to be working on the blanket stitch. Now the blanket stitch is really pretty great because it is both a decorative, appealing visually stitch and also a functional stitch. It is used for finishing the edge of pieces. Usually if several pieces have been brought together, it's used to connect them together. And also it helps lock in or hold together edges and keep them from fraying. I actually have an example down here from an actual blanket that I happen to have. And you can see it's this stitching right along the edge here. So it has this kind of squarish shape with some of them going up and some of them going across right on the edge. Now, obviously, this one was done by machine, so it's a little bit different how they've done it than how we're going to be doing it ourselves. But if you notice, it might kind of call back some memories from when we were doing the chain stitch, because they do kind of loop together in certain ways up here at the edge. But I'll walk you through how to do those. Either way, to get started, we will need, I have a square of muslin and a needle already threaded with, I think this is 4-ply? Yes, okay, I'm being bold. I'm going for a little bit thicker selection here. And let me see. So imagining that we're looking at the right side or the outside of the piece. Once again, a reminder, I am left-handed. How I am going to be doing this is the left-handed style. For all you right-handed folks out there, it'll be just mirrored of what I'm doing. So I'm going to be starting on the right and working my way to the left. For right-handed folks, if it's more comfortable, starting on the left, working your way over to the right is most likely what your cup of tea is going to be. But either way, the technique is the same, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. It's just the way that you're going to be going is the difference. So for my purposes as left-handed person, looking at the right side of the fabric, the outside of the garment, I'm going to be starting underneath. So from the wrong side, I'm going to be coming through, stitching up, and then I'm going to go back and stitch again right where I came through the first time. Making, oh my gosh, look at that, a loop, which, what's this? We're gonna go through and pull straight up, just snug. You don't want to be so tight that it buckles that piece of fabric together and scrunches it in on itself. You want it to be just tight enough that it's snug to the fabric, but not so tight that it's pinching it together. And just like how we saw on the blanket example, it's kind of a squarish sort of thing going down. So visualizing a square right here, you're going to, from the back, bring your needle up through kind of diagonally where this corner of the square would be. So whereas we're starting here on the top right of the square, we're going to come down to the bottom left and pull through. But just before we get this tight, remember, we got this loop up here, which we're going to pass through the loop. And then we're going to pull it snugly taut. So you see there, that's what gives us the top of the box and the side of the box. And once again, visualizing diagonally across, bringing it up somewhere around here, how about? Leaving the loop, going through the loop, pulling it taut. Sometimes if your threads start to splay out or become uneven with each other, you can kind of coax them back in line, or maybe kind of Bring your needle down. You can get them back in line with each other. Pulling the loose bits up to the end there. All right. And again, from the back, going through at the bottom corner, pulling, going through the loop, and pulling up. Now, if you were, oh, that's looking a little wonky right there. Let's see, I've kind of drifted up towards the hem. Well, if you were going to be doing all of the vertical stitches right next to each other, that is what we would call a buttonhole stitch and is used for finishing the buttonholes, just in case you're having a lot of problems. If you use some machine buttonhole functions, they can also be done by hand, because anything that can be done by machine can be done by hand, but not everything that can be done by hand can be done by machine. So, yeah, we can just go on through. I'm gonna call that good. So to tie this off, as you can see, we just got done doing the pulling up bit. So we're gonna come back again. Actually, no, we're gonna end it basically the same way that we started it. So whereas we are looking at the right side of the fabric, we're gonna pass it through to the wrong side again, locking in that little top portion. And we're gonna tie it just down here, making a loop, going once, twice through the loop. And if we have our pin handy, we can hold it into place. Oops. There we go. As we just negotiate the knot down against the fabric. Gently, gently, and pull snug. There we go. And we'll just clip that right off. Okay. So yes, that is the blanket stitch. So there are kind of, because we did that loop just to start it off and did that loop just to end it, it will be doubled at the beginning and end right there of the project. So this is, again, functional because it kind of keeps things together, keeps all those threads in place, keeps them from fraying out. However, it can also be decorative if your edge is already finished, or if you want to give it a little bit more panache, you can do a quarter turn if it is a completely raw edge, and do the blanket stitch around that, because hey, look what you've already marked the length of the vertical stitches, so all that you have to do is match that with the horizontal length of the stitches. If you're wanting to do this around something like a shirt cuff, hey, wouldn't that be stylish? Bearing in mind that there's a lot more interfacing and layers and reinforcement and stuff which can obstruct the needle's travel through the fabric, especially because as we have it right up here towards the eye, they are doubled up on each other. So what is usually just 4 strands of floss now turned into 8 strands of floss. So it can be rather stubborn getting that through the project. So if you have needle nose pliers on you, those really come in handy, just to kind of strong arm your way through it. Otherwise, just giving it a little bit of a wiggle, widening that hole that you're stitching through so you can get all of the threads through. Either way, I hope this makes sense to you. I hope that yours is a little more straight than mine. Either way, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I wish you happy sewing.